In Microsoft Excel, when doing pivot tables, you have this really cool feature with date fields to do what's called a timeline. I'm Chris Menard. Let's dive into this cool feature right now. So I have my data here. I've already made it a table with Control T. I could have gone to Insert Table. Whenever you make something a table, you have a contextual tab called Table Design. I want to point this out before I make my timeline. When I'm on Table Design, I have Insert Slicer right here. If I click on Insert Slicer, there are my 6 fields. And if I check Invoice Date, which is the only date field I have, and hit OK, it pulls up a slicer for the invoice date. In this example, this does me absolutely no good, this slicer here. Another tip is I know that I've got 2 years because when I made this a table, filters got turned on automatically, and if you hit that filter arrow, you'll see that I have 2 years of data, 2021 and 2022. So now let's go make that timeline, and we need to use a pivot table. So insert pivot table, hit OK. New worksheet. Cool tip for you right here. When you check invoice date, remember I got 2 years of data, it automatically groups those dates into years. If you don't want to see those 2 years grouped, just do an undo, Control Z is undo. And now I'm sitting here looking at every date for those 2 years. I also want to see the car brands, Ford, GM, BMW, but I want to see it above the invoice date. So I just clicked, dragged and dropped. And what is it I want to summarize? How about the invoice amount? Now let's go and group the dates ourselves. So make sure you click on one of the dates. Pivot Table Analyze inside of the group. By the way, there's ungroup. That was the Control Z I did. Here's your group selection. Picks up the first date, picks up the last date. What do you want to see? I want to see 2 items, years and months. Click OK. This is starting to look good. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. Look over in column A. Notice you see Acura, BMW, Fiat, Ford, GM. There you go. Last item before I do the timeline. It's driving me crazy, these numbers. I'm going to right click, number format. I don't need dollar signs, but I do need a comma. There you go. Here we go with the timeline feature in the pivot table. Pivot table analyze. Here's that insert slicer. We just saw this inside of the table. But what a table doesn't have that a pivot table does is this insert timeline. I only have of the 6 fields, 1 field that's the date field, and it's the invoice date. So when I click this, that is why that is the only field that shows. If I had 2 date fields, I would see 2 fields in here. I'm going to select invoice date. I'm going to click OK. My field list that was sitting on the right-hand side of my pivot table has disappeared because I'm using a timeline slicer. There it is. Feel free to widen it, which in this example I am. It's going to show months by default. You also have a scroll bar at the bottom that you scroll left and right. If you notice, I've got January of 2021. Scroll to the right and there is December of 2022. What am I looking at right now? I'm looking at months. You've got 4 items to pick from: years, quarters, months, and days. Let's go ahead and start off with years. Keep this simple. There are the 2 years that I have. If I select 2022, watch my data change. That is my 2022 data for my car manufacturers and invoice amount by months. And there is 2021 right there. And you're saying, Chris, can you get both? Yeah, just pull that out. Now let's go pop into quarters. Watch the timeline change. So now I'm seeing the 2 years, but the 4 quarters. I'm going to look at quarter 1 of 2021, then we'll pop into quarter 2 of 2022. And again, everything's working because look at the months. January through March. Very cool. Can you see 2 quarters at once? Sure, just pull this over. Now I've got quarter 1 and quarter 2 of 2021. Absolutely want to do 3, you got it. Next is, I'm going to go ahead and show you days. Days in this example I would not use, so now I'm looking at every day for every month. In this example I would not be using days, but months I would definitely use. Here is the month of March, the month of May, the month of July. If you notice, it is working over here. It is smart enough to know that if I highlight 3 months that are a quarter, it makes it Q1 of 2021. But what's cool is maybe I need to see May and June. There's May and June. If I want to see just May, click on May. And again, you can stretch this out. I need to see May through October in this example, and that is what I have. Really cool feature. I love using timelines in pivot tables. If you like this feature, please give me a comment down below. If this feature is new to you, please give me a comment down below and just say, hey, that was new. Say it was great if you want to. Oh, one last item. Sorry. I'm going to get rid of this. Watch this. When you get rid of the slicer, pivot table, timeline slicer, I do want to point out, look over here, the filter is still running because it really is just a filter. So I can tell in A3 that it's running. Let me zoom in on this. I'm also going to add a couple of columns so you can watch me do this because it's going to go off the screen. Be careful, if I click on accurate and say, hey, I'm going to get rid of this, I don't see anything that says clear my filter because I clicked on the manufacturer. You need to click on one of the days and then come to the filter and clear your filter from whatever that date field is. For me, it's invoice date. Now I'm back to seeing everything. So major tip there at the end. Anyway, I appreciate your support of my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe and ring the bell and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Appreciate it.